On that note, welcome everyone. I'd like to call the August 26th Somersworth School Board meeting, first one of the year, to order. Can I have a roll call, please?
Maggie Larson.
Here.
Carrie Clark. Here. Marcia Brown. Here. Bridget Jameson. Here. Carly Prescott. Here. Sarah Bryan Hart. Here. Crystal D. St. Croix. Here.
Wonderful. Please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, welcome, welcome. We have a slightly new agenda format. Agenda number 2 is public comments and our citizen forum. Anyone can come up from the public and address the board. We'd be happy to hear you. Just state your name and ward or address, but I don't think there's any this evening. I would like to start this meeting on behalf of the board to relay our heart, our condolences to the Oyster River school community. We've been thinking about this. There's been conversations and support in this community about what has happened, and we just wanted to publicly relay our support as a board to that community. Does any other board members like to? Okay. All right.
I just echo what you said.
Okay. Thanks.
Definitely a tragedy that's felt through the town borders, and I just wanted to express our deepest condolences to the community at large.
Thanks. All right. Okay, moving to our consent calendar. These items considered for approval and acceptance without discussion, unless anyone would like to remove an item for discussion. That's perfectly normal, but typically these are our minutes, calendar, committee assignments, hires, things like that, that we can just adopt since they're all in our agenda materials in one fell swoop. So what's the wish of the board to adopt this consent calendar as presented?
I wish to adopt this calendar as presented.
Wonderful. Do I have a second?
Second.
Great. Any discussion? Anything? All right. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Thank you. All right. Starting with our reports and a little bit of a reorganization here. We're going to start with our student representative report, which is agenda item 4.1. Welcome, Talia, even before school starts, showing up. Welcome. Thank you.
There's not really much to report. There's the kindergarten open house on Wednesday the 27th at 4. Freshman orientation is September 2nd, while all upperclassmen start September 3rd. There is a new soccer coach this season at the high school, Coach Thomas Sawinski. And then there were a couple, I guess, clarifications that many students were asking for regarding the one-to-one computer conversation that we had in our previous school board meeting. Students were curious about whether that is being implemented starting this year, and if so, does that mean we are not allowed to bring our own computers?
Are students in the high school, this is just for the high school, allowed to bring their own computers this year since we're going to one-to-one? I believe the answer is no. Yes.
Correct, no. Also because that is part of the new policy and law in the state of New Hampshire regarding cell phones and personal devices in schools.
Okay. Go.
Okay, and then I have another, I guess, area that would like some attention, I suppose, regarding the AP schedule for calculus. Many students are concerned that since the course time has been reduced by half, if they will have enough time to actually retain the information, and many students have a fear that along with that, the shorter amount of time will affect their AP exams, and they don't want that to have any effect, I guess.
Okay. I'm not sure if that can be answered at this meeting, but it's taken into consideration that I think, from my understanding, it's a half year course. Is it? Okay. And there's concerns about that leading up to an AP course exam in the late spring. That
because they have a whole what adds up to be a whole summer's length long. It's not a summer's length, but it's like feels like that much length of time between when they take the AP class, and then we have their exam. I've heard that from students too. They're concerned about their retaining of the information and making sure they have enough and setting them up for success. I'm sure this is already on your warehouse too, but just to echo our student rep, that's definitely a thought.
I can't answer it for Talia now, but I can promise you I'll follow up with the high school principal, Mr. Tebow, and we'll make sure the concerns are clarified and addressed. He's pretty good about responding to those. And the laptops that we are issuing are going to get rolled out immediately, just to answer that question.
Oh, great. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Good. Great. Anything else? That's great. No, thank you so much. Welcome to the new year. Those are good questions. I'm sure. Not sure. A lot of folks won't know about the cell phone. I don't think they've been too tuned in, but it's happening. All right. Our 4.2, our city council, no city council update this evening. 4.3, our business administrator actually has a report. Typically not, but there's been a lot going on, so thank you.
Yeah. Good evening, everybody. I did hand out my report to you because it didn't make it in the packet. I wasn't sure if I was going to finish all of my DOE 25 reporting, but I did today, so I wanted to bring the information to you. So I wanted to give you an update on where we ended last fiscal year. We had an expenditure balance left over of $9,557.40. That was really low for my time here. It's, I was kind of sweating a little bit, like making sure we were coming in, to the good. So I'm happy that we did that. We also had total unanticipated revenue of $328,238.50. We are using $200,000 of that additional revenue to use as revenue into this fiscal year. You decided to do that during the budget process. So that brings a total amount that we're going to return to the city's general fund of $137,795.90. So just a reminder, we aren't able to spend that unanticipated revenue, so that's why most of that is returning back to the city. We did adjust the revenue going into this fiscal year as in the budget process to kind of adjust those lines where we did receive additional revenue to hopefully not see that big jump of unanticipated revenue. Below that is just an update on the year-end expenditures that the board approved at the end of the year. So the board approved not to exceed $468,000. The total of the projects came in at $463,717.17. The rooftop HVAC unit replacement at Maplewood, that did come in at this, the same amount that you approved. It will be completed in the next 2 weeks. Technology Phase 2 was $278,876.07. All orders have been complete, received, and installed, with the exception of 3 Chromebook storage towers that are due in the next couple of weeks. The upgrades to the camera servers, that came in on budget. That's in process. It's scheduled for completion in September because of all the other technology stuff that was happening that's been delayed a little bit just to get everything else in the hands of students before school starts. The fire panel upgrades at the high school in Idlehurst are in process and will be completed during a teacher workshop day in October. The website upgrades and strategic plan materials is in process. The neoprene sleeves for the Chromebooks, those have been ordered, and the last shipment is due to arrive tomorrow. They've been shipping them in increments of 14, 17, 18. We keep getting all these different boxes. Kat and I laugh every day. We're like, oh, they came in. Oh, nope, that's just 17 of them. But they're due tomorrow, so we should have those all ready to go. The additional Clear Touch interactive displays, those are ordered, received, and installed. And then the arts and athletic purchases, there's an extra 0 there. Those orders are in process. I placed some of the orders today. Steve's going to send me the athletic ones tomorrow, and we should be wrapping that up. John has it in his superintendent's update to go over the things that are going to be purchased. I did hand out the DOE 25 reports for you to sign. It's all this information that I just went over. They're due to the state by September 1st, so once you sign them tonight, they'll be submitted to the state tomorrow. And then, obviously, once the tax rate's set in October, and the audit's done, if there are any changes to this, then I will report back to the board. But that's where we ended up at the end of the year.
Great. Thank you. Any questions? Board Member Brown.
Yes, I have a couple of subjects, and Katie, when you said that 130,000 thereabouts is being returned to the city budget, can you, if you recall, how that compares with past years?
We returned over the last few years a lot of money, probably upwards of $1 million over the last maybe 5 or so years. A couple of those years were COVID years, which we had a lot of savings due to different things. But this is a smaller amount compared to previous years.
Okay, I appreciate that. Sure. And the other subject is in the news. There's this Claremont $5 million deficit in their school budget. And can you speak to the soundness of our books and accounting, and if we have audits, et cetera?
Sure. Yep. So we're audited every year. We are actually part of the city's audit because we're a department of the city. So it's one audit of the entire city. I also reconcile every month with the city, so they have our numbers as well as us, and we make sure those are always in balance. John and I meet all the time regarding the budget and any updates. You also receive a budget update at every month at your meetings. We have separation of duties within the office. Cheryl processes all the AP and payroll checks. I do not. I check them, and then John also checks them, and then you also sign all the manifests. So there's multiple layers. Oh, they also come to the city as well for our checks to be signed. So there's multiple layers of approvals that happen. Yeah. Okay. So I don't know if there's any.
No, I appreciate that, because having that sound bite is important, because the news was floating around, with the poor, situation in Claremont. And I just wanted, people that are listening in here to know that we're good.
Yes.
And thanks again
Welcome.
to Katie and the team.
Thank you. Yeah. Okay, anyone else? Just in general, Katie, what's the revenue, the unanticipated? What does that what category does that fall under?
The majority of it was for special education aid. We received more than we budgeted, but we always tend to be a little bit conservative when we budget there, so we did up it for this year. But the majority was that. It is attached to your update.
Is it under catastrophic still, or?
No, it's called special education aid, but it is on here. I gotta fix that, yeah.
But it says it there.
So we got it like 194,000 of it was special education aid. The rest was career tech tuition. We did receive more for preschool and Medicaid.
It's
But
really,
those are all items that we adjusted going into this year.
right, it's really difficult.
Yep.
I mean, I understand that then it comes in. It's just part of my advocacy legislatively is really for the special education to be recognized as a unfunded mandate. And then when we have a certain amount that we as the city of Somersworth taxpayers pay, I mean, it's just one of those deeply unfair situations that we have to manage in so many ways. But when it comes to the budget and it comes to trying to get this on target and then get it off, it's impossible, I think, to be able to manage that. So
Right, and just to be clear, even though we received more than we budgeted, it's not as much as we should be receiving.
Yeah,
We just happen to budget a little bit conservatively in that area because we never know what we're going to get.
Right,
But
which
we're definitely due way more than what we received.
deeply unfair, but thank you. Appreciate all your work. Anything else? Nope. Okay. All right. Moving to agenda 4.4, our superintendent's report. Put you last.
Before I jump into my 4 bullet points there, I'll just tag on the budget conversation. I just want to stress again that we are a district with greater needs than we have resources. So we've been really clear with the school board, and we've been really clear with the city council that although our business administrator rightly sees 9,000-ish as really tight to zero, the superintendent would like to return $1 because we have the needs. So we're kind of finding that fine line, and I think the city council understands it. But the needs of this district are greater than the resources that we have. We can't spend the unanticipated revenue, but we will do our best to spend appropriately and efficiently every dollar that we have budgeted each year. The protocols that Katie was alluding to, another example of that is things that I can sign off and approve as superintendent that relate to me. I've asked Katie to sign off on anyways, so that I'm not approving my own PD or my own leave. If it's 5 days in a row, that comes to the school board, but otherwise, just common sense, extra protocols have been in place all year long, and I think we're very fortunate to have a business administrator of the quality of Katie with her experience and the work that she does and the diligence that she puts into all this. The $15,000 that Katie alluded to, which was part of our end of year expenditures, that the school board said, hey, wait a minute, time out. can we carve out some of this leftover money to just do some needed things, particularly in athletic and arts for the kids? And we did. And we had a good, diligent, thoughtful process, reaching out to everybody. The requests, as expected, totaled more than $15,000, as we knew they would. But just to give you a quick idea, without getting overly detailed about what that $15,000 allocation will go to, Maplewood Elementary is going to get a much needed bass clarinet, and then we're going to combine the end-of-year balance funds with the $2,000 grant they received from the festival, a portion of that. So it's a good use of leveraging funds in that way. 12 new guitars at Maplewood, a bass drum at Maplewood. The middle school art program is going to get 10 stop-motion cameras. Those sound expensive, but they're $38 each. That was an easier one. 25 music stands for the middle school and high school programs. Bridget is going to look to get a soprano sax used because the cost of a new one was a little bit expensive, but we'll save about $800 or $900. So kind of doing the legwork on that one. We'll add a soprano sax, an electric guitar and a gig bag, piano amp, and in athletics, girls basketball uniforms, high school volleyball travel warm-ups, girls soccer game socks, a middle school volleyball net, boys and girls soccer training frame, a cheerleader cheese mat. Cheese mat is not made out of cheese, it's just shaped like a wedge. So they call it a cheese mat, yes. And track blocks for the new set of track blocks. And with a small amount of what he could have used, a whole collection of our athletic director figuring out pucks, basketballs, footballs, and baseballs as needed and new. So that $15,000 isn't a ton of money, but it makes a difference. And really am glad the school board took the initiative there in our last meeting to say, hey, can we do something in this regard? My 4 bullet points, first meeting of the school year, so there's some things here. This will be a little bit longer than the typical superintendent's report, but I believe it's important, so bear with me, interrupt with any questions. Start of the school year information. We had about 25 to 30 new faculty and staff join us yesterday for orientation, which was terrific. And Eric Mumpson, as he does every year, took him on a 1-hour bus ride around Somersworth, which is just absolutely awesome. Anybody in this room, including our guests who haven't been there, you should go on the bus ride, and good introduction to Somersworth. Everyone showed up today, so the new folks that were here yesterday and all faculty and all staff across the district were on board today. Including, I want to add, the city manager and about 25 people total, mostly from the city hall staff, also from DPW, Water and Sewer. Wasn't part of the plan, but Chief of Police John Sunderland jumped in anyways. Fire Chief couldn't make it, but our Deputy Chief Jim joined as well, and they did a volunteer cleanup project in the parking lots out in front of Idlehurst and next to Idlehurst. And it was the city manager's idea. Jay and Doug and Jason from our team supported their work, and we got what would have been easily 3 weeks worth of work done in about 7 hours. They didn't come out to take photos. They didn't come out to stand around. They showed up, and they were working within minutes. It was a great team building activity. I regret that we weren't able to put a school team in connection with them because it kind of came together pretty quickly, and we were all pretty busy today. But it could be school board and others in the future. But mostly landscaping, sorry. Yeah, they're moving around mulch, digging, weeding, and just doing all kinds of work in front of the school. It was really a terrific effort and very much appreciated. A note from me, the most important communications to families goes out from principals and from teachers, but I'll send out an all-district note just with some basic stuff that are going on, which will either go out later tonight or first thing tomorrow morning to all the families. Foster's Back to School Somersworth piece is published online and might be in the paper tomorrow, just with some basic information. You'll note that the information we supplied them, we're kind of reiterating and reminding folks what public education is. They took out a lot of it because I started to stretch into commentary and editorial, but the spirit of it, which is remembering what we are and who we are and what we do, was part of what we tried to get across there. As a general note, I reached out to the chair and vice chair. I'm going to host a superintendent forum, one in the fall in September, one in the winter in January, and one in the spring in May, just for any parents that are interested in coming out to talk about anything. It won't be connected to the budget. It won't be connected to a strategic plan, but just want to make that a habit that I think would be healthy. Again, stressing to our families that your principals and your teachers and your coaches are who's most important, but if you have time and interest in district-wide matters, this will be coming forward. School board members, you see you had 2 calendars in your board packet, just so you're clear on that. One is a family student calendar, which kind of strips away a lot of the confusing things about teacher workshop days and other things that don't really pertain to families and kids. It's just school days and not school days. And then we have a staff calendar, which gets into all the specifics, which gets a little bit dicier because who has a work day and who doesn't varies from time to time. Just know that that's in there, please. A reminder, please, for anybody at home who's tuned in, free and reduced meal applications. Please turn them in. Not only do you stand to benefit, or your sons and daughters or kids stand to benefit from potential free and reduced qualifications, it helps the whole district. And in particular, high schools, students and high school families are the worst at turning these in. Even if you don't intend to use it or don't think you qualify, please submit them because it means more dollars for our district, and that's helpful. Registration, enrollment, paperwork, if you haven't already got it in, please do. I'll leave out the important things that our faculty are going to be working on in the days ahead. We'll save that for another faculty meeting from the iReady rollout, technology rollout, curriculum work. Bullet point number 2, enrollment, staffing, budget. Just quickly, enrollment numbers will be a lot clearer at our next board meeting because there's a lot in flux right now, but I can tell you, given the homeschooling and EFAs and everything that's been coming at us, at this point, things look pretty solid. Enrollment looks stable. And we have families that opt for homeschooling, but we also regularly have families that come back. And oftentimes, a lot of folks do great, high-quality homeschooling, but oftentimes their kids return a year or 2 behind grade level. And then it's on us to figure out next steps. So please be thoughtful and careful about those decisions. But we're in the 1,300 to 1,400 enrollment numbers right now, not including pre-K. And so that's pretty solid. We'll see where we are at next board meeting. Just a quick heads up, we have 2 foreign exchange students joining us this year as well, which is exciting, from Italy and Japan, which is really nice. We're already the 3rd most diverse school district in the state, and it's nice to have some foreign exchange students in the mix and to see that they were still able to get in to the United States to participate in this program. Budget, just I think it's important that we all go into this year recognizing that where the state is right now, there were 3 recent decisions about how unfair and inadequate state funding is in the last several months. That might be cause for optimism, except these decisions have been coming at us for over 40 years now, and the legislature hasn't figured it out yet. So we still worry about state funding, the uncertainty of federal funding, the economy, where tariffs might be taking us, and health insurance just everywhere is becoming an issue, just in terms of both needs and costs. So we go into this year as careful as we always are about how we spend our money, and with some concerns about where we are headed in the short term. 3rd bullet point, briefly, legislative and lawsuit updates. The lawsuit that Somersworth joined into with Dover and Oyster River and Hanover, as well as a district in Vermont that we joined into in the spring. Currently, our lawyers are looking at producing. We've got an injunction against the whole thing, and that injunction stands. So that basically, until we figure this out, the law doesn't. Dear colleagues letter doesn't matter. The executive orders don't matter. The anti-DEI executive orders and letters don't matter. We are currently in the midst of seeking a summary judgment, and we'll see where that plays out, but that's still in progress. The lawsuit against the state that we joined into with Oyster River and Dover and Grantham, there's a hearing tomorrow, which is a preliminary injunction request against the September 5th deadline to certify that we aren't doing anything DEI, nor are we doing business with anybody that is doing DEI. And I will remind folks that there's rather troubling interpretation, which to me seems pretty clear in House Bill 2 that we are fighting, that implies and or explicitly makes clear that special education is a form of DEI, basically seeking outcomes for populations, in this case, students with disabilities, not just race and other things that are protected by the Civil Rights Act, but protected by an RSA. So we'll see where this goes, but it's a little bit messy. I want to remind everybody, I talked to the board chair about this the other day, there is no cost to the district in either lawsuit, nor is it a burden or a hindrance to our faculty and staff. I think faculty and staff, many of whom are glad we're standing tough on this, but it's not taking any of their time. It takes a little bit of my time. And in fact, I think it saves us money because now we have pro bono lawyers advising us on critical issues that a lot of other districts are having to go to their school board or district law firms to. And we have good quality law firms, but that is a benefit. We are not engaged in this lawsuit to seek damages or money. We are engaged in this lawsuit for all the right reasons, which is to say that these laws don't make sense, they're unfair, and we want them eliminated. Open enrollment, Educational Freedom Act, House Bill 2, the cell phone piece, which comes up later today, I will table for further conversation, but there's a lot happening that we need to be paying attention to. Fourth bullet point, the work that we've done on the one-page mission and values statement about who we are, why we educate kids, what our values are. We anticipate that will be approved, hopefully by the school board later in September. We'll take next steps on that together. The 4 core domains of measurement we have solidified, and that's rolling forward. I just saw Maplewood Elementary began their opening meeting with those 4 domains as the core things, and Devin McNally's out in front of kind of as we roll this out as a district, which is great to see, but it's a pretty rational way to look at things. And the important work of our strategic plan and priorities moving forward, we hope that the school board and community will work together with the district leadership and the district on this, and hopefully have that in place by November or February. We've only done, between November and February, we've only done preliminary work in this realm, and we want to, that's the next piece of, we know where we want to go, we know how we're going to measure it, but what are the key strategies to get there? So I apologize a lot for this first one. I already covered the $15,000. I wanted to mention the help we got from the city today. And although not a bullet point, the last thing too is we'll be negotiating this year with both the teachers union and again with CESPA, our facilities and custodial crew, coming off a 1-year agreement. So we have 2 collective bargaining agreements that will be ending at the end of the school year, and we'll begin negotiations this fall on both. Sorry, that was a lot, but I just wanted to make sure we got it there for you at this
I think
first
we're beginning
meeting.
negotiations, this summer.
September 5th.
It's still in the summer, early one, September 5th.
Can I just add one thing on the free and reduced? Just in case you hear from families, new this year is if you qualify for SNAP or TANF and you usually write that case number in, they are now requiring that a letter showing your approval of benefits be attached to the free and reduced lunch. So we've been having to make contact with families asking them for that letter, otherwise we can't accept it. So in case you hear from families, that's required this year.
Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
just a point of
Jameson, then Clark.
just a point of clarification. Are they not able to use this case number to look it up on, or
It's required that we have the letter attached with,
have the letter?
yeah. So families have been doing it. It's easy for
Sure.
families to pull the letter. Tasha at our office has been contacting families and getting it in. So it hasn't been a problem so far, but just in case you hear from families like, hey,
Okay.
that's the reason it's required of us now to collect that information.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks.
Yeah.
And just one more point of clarity, Katie. So is this going to be just paper forms, or is this online
Nope,
now?
That's
Perfect.
both ways. You can fill it. We are required to send the information out to all families, so I did mailings for all students with the paper form. Also included instructions of how to do it online on mymealtime.com.
Perfect.
They can create an account, and they just need their student's ID, and if they don't have that, they can contact the school to get that. But they can do it online, and we download those forms that get submitted online every day.
Thank you for clarifying. Yep.
And I also saw on Power School to submit
It
your
takes them
forms. It
directly when
takes
they
you
do the
there.
registration process. Yep.
It seemed pretty simple and
Yep.
straightforward within Power School. I think everyone needs to fill out their forms. So, anything else? Okay, great, thank you. Agenda item number 5, committee updates. When it took up a lot of space to have every single one, so when there is a committee update, I'll do my best to remember who has had one in the calendar previous to our meeting. But I believe policy is the only one that has a brief update. Board Member Brown?
I noticed you said brief, so I'll talk fast. Sorry. Yes, we had a policy committee meeting yesterday to jump on the cell phone policy. And just to give a little bit of background, because when it comes to the first reading, all I do is just read by title only. And I just want to give people a background that House Bill 2 is kind of like this large expenditure bill. And tucked in paragraph 455, right before 456, which was about immunization, we have a new cell phone policy. And so that cell phone policy is that school boards and boards of trustees of chartered public schools shall develop and adopt a policy governing the use of student cell phones and other personal electronic communication devices in schools. Such policies shall prohibit all personal communication devices use by students from when the first bell starts instructional time until the dismissal bell rings at the end of the academic day. So that really has shoehorned us into we can't allow cell phones during that time. There are exceptions. There are exceptions for medical reasons, disability reasons, health reasons, and language proficiency. So it's going to, the exceptions are going to be on a case-by-case basis. But I just wanted to give you the background as to why we have revised the cell phone policy. We had a cell phone policy in affecting two different policies, JICJ and JICJA, and with the assistance of Kat helping integrate the recommended language changes, we went through that and have a proposal for first reading for today. And thank you very much.
Great. Thank you. Wonderful. We have no unfinished business because we don't like to keep unfinished business throughout the summer, but we have some new business. And without exception, I'd like to kind of move agenda item 9.3, the consideration of the net metering opportunity, since we have some representatives here this evening. And Superintendent Shea, would you like to introduce?
Do you want to introduce them, Katie, and the process? I know it's.
So,
Just got a little bit just to provide a little bit of background on
yep,
how
so
we got
this
to
is
the
Ryan
presentation.
Fahey from Amoresco. He's been working with the city on a net metering, the solar project at the landfill site, and so he has some information for the schools to be able to join that effort.
Board Member Jameson?
Point of order, I just want to clarify that we meant to move new business in front of policy adoption. Because we didn't actually do the first read. It doesn't matter, I just want to make sure.
Yes, we
Okay.
absolutely did. I jumped through. You're absolutely correct. Yeah, I went way through policy adoption. Right.
And we're on 9.3 right now.
We are on. We jumped ahead.
That's fine, okay.
I jumped ahead because nothing was in between, and I was like, oh, there's nothing else there. But we probably should do policy adoption. I apologize. We
That's
have one
okay.
policy to approve. I really did jump. At least I didn't jump to 11. Yes, we have one policy, as Board Member Brown, JICJ.
Can I make a motion to read the policy by title only?
Yes, you can. Is there a second? Okay, second. All right.
Okay.
All in favor, say aye. Aye, thank you.
So the policy, which is in our packet, is JICJ, unauthorized communication devices, is the corrected title. Thank you.
And if anyone would like the policy, I have some up here if you'd like to read through. The most updated.
Can I just ask a quick question, which I think is probably like, the answer is definitely yes, but I just want to make sure. On the paragraph that talks about students with medical needs and the IEPs and the 504s, that language comes from somewhere that's been vetted, right? Did it come from the New Hampshire School Board Association?
Yes. Throughout our policy revisions, we are trying to align with the New Hampshire School Board Association. We pay dues to access their legal counsel, and so their legal counsel has vetted that language and recommended it. So
Perfect.
thank you for asking
Yeah,
that.
thank you.
Appreciate it.
Great, wonderful. All right, yes.
Just wanted to ask a quick question about, we talked to other schools too and what they're doing for this policy, because I have heard from, I think it was Dover and Rochester, and they're a little bit more lenient on this. From what I heard from them was that they were going to do from bell to bell for school, which meant per class. If your bell rang, you could have your phone then, and the bell rang again, your phone has to be put away. I just want to make sure that's clear, and that we're doing.
I had the same question, and I received clarity. Would you?
That's okay.
Member
I'm
Prescott,
asking.
would you like?
Yeah, we looked this up yesterday because I was actually had the same concern about our policy being more restrictive than the state demanding. And the state is very clear that it's the first bell of the day to the last very bell of the day.
Okay.
It says dismissal.
And it's cell phones and all personal devices, not just cell phones. So if
Like
Dover's
watches.
not complying,
It's not. Is it watches too?
Yep.
We're gonna go with Brown, O'Brien, Hart, and then D. St. Croix.
I'm just going to reread that
okay.
section so that you, from the state law.
Sure.
And the language is, okay, adopt a policy governing the use of student cell phones and other personal electronic communication devices in schools. Such policy shall prohibit all personal communication device use by students from when the first bell rings to start instructional time until the dismissal bell rings at the end of the academic school day. Thank you.
Thank you for that clarity. I think there was some definite confusion, right, with this. I have heard both sides of families being like, oh, I'm so excited. It's going to be less bullying, less TikToks in bathrooms, for sure. So, yeah, anyways, thank you.
O'Brien, Hart, yeah.
Thank you for that clarification. One thing we were talking about in my program today was the fact that the school bus is still considered the school, so we weren't sure if school bus time also counted for, but it seems like it does not.
Yeah, to and from school, no. Arguably, a field trip during the day would be a different scenario. I just want to add quickly that the high school made a lot of progress last year on taking cell phones out of academic time. I think most educators generally like the idea that cell phones just would not be in the school, period. I believe there are some high schools, I don't feel comfortable speaking for every other high school, but I know anecdotally that there are schools in the state that are really throwing up their hands at this and just saying, oh, come on. And to the degree to which they are committing to execute this firmly and clearly, I think might vary a little bit. We intend to follow the state law to prioritize getting kids in the hallway, in bathrooms, in locker rooms, on a bus, on a field trip, during the school day, between the bells. We don't have the staff or the personnel to police that, but we will follow the spirit of the law.
Okay, great. D. St. Croix and then Clark. Yep, thanks.
Thanks for clarifying that, Martha. Real quick, to be a little proactive, I'm just trying to think in advance. If there was an emergency or an alert that needed to go out and these kids don't have their cell phones, the communication to get to these kids, if there was something that happened or needed, do we have another plan in place for that? I just want to make sure where they're not going to have their phones available.
Yeah, if I can speak to that, because that issue came up, and because this year we now have, everyone has, is it a Chromebook, Kat, that everyone has? So everyone has an ability to communicate. We have now one-on-one ability for a student to communicate if they needed to email out using their school email.
Perfect.
Any other comment?
And just for what I understand, and please correct me, it's not, we don't have the funds to have the fancy pouches to be able to lock. So I think generally, as a parent, I'm like, keep your phone in your bag. Keep your phone in your bag. That's what I'm saying. I think that's kind of there's not a specific place that we're putting the phones away, like in a container of some sort, so it'll be in their bag. And I think emergency situations, from my understanding, is an emergency situation. So that, yeah.
Okay.
The off and away is the policy. There's not a collection point. So the reality is students will have their phones. I do want to remind folks that in an emergency and kind of a worst case scenario that everybody thinks of, students should not be using their cell phones, even though that's the typical reaction, just to be clear.
Thank you.
Remember Clark?
Yeah, my question was actually answered. Thank you. Yeah.
Can I follow up on that communication issue? Because it was brought up in yesterday's policy meeting that when there's an emergency, either the student can also contact the administrative staff in the office, or the family can communicate through the administrative staff, and they will get that communication to where it needs to go in whatever direction is needed.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep. Prescott?
I also just had a comment that I wanted to add. I was in high school just 10 years ago, so I had a cell phone, and I would be devastated if I was a student right now. But I will say, like, there was life before the phones, and schools operated before students had cell phones on them, so like they will operate without them. And I just wanted to put that reminder out there that like you'll be able to contact your kids, and the schools are going to be a safe place, not a jail. And yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I think there's a dual thing. I think it's better without instructional time. I wish we were consulted as a phenomenal district for our opinion from the state before they went to this. I think that we did really well last year with instructional time, but it's also very, over the summer, it's really tough to go cold turkey on not having your cell phone in school. So a little bit of grace and understanding and respect and communication. This is coming down. This is a law. We did our due diligence and had a policy be updated, even pulled in a parent willing enough and a student to kind of speak to them to be part of this. So we have to review it annually as part of the law as well. So with that, what is the motion to adopt JICJ, unauthorized communication devices, adopt as a policy and waive the second read?
I was going to say, are we suspending rules?
Yeah,
it's- okay.
if it's first read, we can make a motion to waive rules for policy adoption.
So I think that goes first, right? Motion. So I motion to waive rules. Second.
Right. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Great. All right. So with that waiving rules, which we don't typically do, but since school is in a week, let's have a motion on the table to adopt JICJ as presented. Anybody?
I'll start off with a motion to adopt JICJ as presented, the unauthorized communication device
Great.
policy.
Second?
Second.
All right. Any discussion? All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I kind of want to say no, but yeah. Okay. All right. Now we have no unfinished business, and now I'd like to move up 9.3 for the consideration of net metering opportunity. Thank you. Thank you for your patience.
I will add to Katie's introduction of Ryan Fahey that the city brought this to us several months ago because they were entering into a partnership and they had room to include us. Katie and Jay and I have looked hard at all of this and worked with Ryan on the matter. So the three of us are recommending that we do move forward with this. This is late for them to be adding us, so I believe it would have to be a vote this evening in order to join. So if the board has reservations for any reason, despite our recommendations or the information, and votes no, we can pass on this. But you have a recommendation from business administrator, superintendent, and facilities director that we join. Just wanted to be clear about those pieces of it.
Great.
Thank you.
Thanks. And then we'll get clarity on what we're joining. Welcome. Thank you.
Okay, yeah. Oh. I believe it. Can everybody hear me okay? It is, yes, okay. Thank you for moving us up the agenda. That's very kind. Thank you. So, yeah, as was mentioned before, my name is Ryan Fahey. I'm a senior project manager with Amoresco and have been managing the development of the Somersworth solar landfill for the last 3+ years. This opportunity came about because the city of Somersworth was intending to purchase 100% of the energy that was produced from the solar array, but during that 3 years, their energy consumption has actually decreased some to the point where we now feel like it's a good opportunity to bring in another off-taker, hopefully the schools, to purchase a portion of the energy that's going to be generated from the landfill project. The landfill is already under construction. I'm sure you've seen it over on Blackwater Road. We actually will finish our portion of the construction in September, and Eversource has committed to us that they'll finish their piece by the end of the year. So that system will be up and running very soon. The way that the schools would get involved is through a New Hampshire program called Group Net Metering, where a project like the landfill, where there's no electrical use on site, All of the energy that's produced from the landfill goes right out onto Eversource's lines. And then effectively through paperwork, we tell Eversource which electric accounts to send that energy to in the form of a dollar credit. Amoresco will sell the value of that credit. For example, we'll call it 10 cents per kilowatt hour that's generated. We'll sell that to the schools, and Amoresco will sell that 10-cent credit for a 10% discount, so 9 cents in this example. The schools generate savings based on that 10% discount. The schools are important here because you are a public entity, and that is the required type of off-taker for these projects. And so, when we became aware of the city's change in energy use, we felt like we wanted to keep this as close to home as we could, and that's why we wanted to bring it to the schools first. Effectively, we would sign a contract, a power purchase agreement that the schools would commit to purchase 17.5% of the energy output from this array. The remainder is staying with the city of Somersworth in those accounts. That 17.5% translates to about 600,000 kilowatt hours a year. Through working with Katie and Jay, examining the school's annual electric consumption, the schools use about 1.5 million kilowatt hours a year, which means the schools can participate, take that 600,000 kilowatt hours from the solar array at the landfill, and still have some flexibility to do energy efficiency initiatives to install solar on site somewhere or participate in another group net metering opportunity like this one. I think I'll stop there. Certainly happy to answer any questions.
Great, yeah. Board Member Brown?
Hello.
Hello.
Is Amoresco owning the infrastructure?
Yes, so Amoresco will own the system. There is no upfront cost to the schools in participating, and Amoresco maintains that equipment over its useful life.
Is that useful life 20 or 40 years?
The initial power purchase agreement is for 20 years. Some of the equipment is warranted up to 25 years. Insurance companies would say, yeah, somewhere north of around 40 years would be the useful life of it, though.
And are you bonded for disposal, or how's disposal working at the end of the term of the contract should they not renew?
That's right. Yeah, there is a decommissioning bond where we would remove the equipment at our cost and return the site to its former state.
And will that 17.5% that you are proposing that SAU 56 take, will that cover that 100% output?
Yes, that would bring us back up to the full 100% of the system's output with the city's portion included.
You had some slides that were put into our packet, and there's one slide, net metering offer, and it looks like it's cut off.
Oh, okay.
So this is the page, if I can show you.
Yes, okay.
Can't read that far right column.
Happy to send around the full slide deck. Effectively, in year one, the schools would save about $7,000 from participating, and over 20 years would save $150,000.
Did you compare that $7,000 cost savings to Eversource's prior rate case, or the rates going forward from their most current rate case that just come out of, that they came out of?
Yeah, it's using a historical look back. Because it would be a 10% discount as Eversource's rates increase, that 10%, if say it jumped to 20 cents, all of a sudden the savings per kilowatt hour will go to 2 cents.
Board Member Brown, can we take a pause for a moment and have some other board members? Yep. All right, Board Member Clark. Thank you.
Some great questions for sure. For people listening at home, what does that mean for them? Like, what does that mean for the city or for the school board or our school district? Like, I know you said there's nothing up front to purchase, but what is our financial obligation?
Right. So the obligation would be to purchase the roughly $600,000. It results in savings for the schools.
And the upfront purchase, what is that?
No, there's no $0 are due sort of when the contract is signed because Amoresco is installing and owning the equipment.
Okay. And so we're paying electricity anyways, so then that would come back as savings. Is that correct? Am I understanding correctly?
We basically save on a portion of our electric bill, not the entirety of our electric bill. We save a portion on our electric bill.
Like 600,000
Yeah.
kilowatt
the solar
back.
net
Okay.
metering.
That's right.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
More money in the budget for
Okay.
other things.
Yeah, Board Member Jameson?
So
Anyone?
this is gonna sound really basic after Marcia's questions. So there's no break even point. It's just savings.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, Board Member Prescott?
Has the city experienced any savings so far using this?
Because the system is not operating yet, no.
Okay.
But the city will benefit from a lease payment, a property tax payment, and then similarly a 10% discount on the value of the energy once it starts operating. And one other thing I'll add sort of related to that, if, say, the schools wanted to start today to work towards installing an array on one of the schools, that timeline can be probably 2 years at minimum. And so one of the great parts about this is that we're expecting to be operational within the next 6 months. And so the schools are able to realize savings much faster.
Yeah. Yep, Board Member Brown, then Clark?
Because I just want to know what's the con, right? What's the pro? What's the con? I just want to know, like, what's the catch? Kind of, but kind of like, there's always good things, there's always a bad thing. What's the...
Yeah, I would say, the school has 1.5 million kilowatt hours in annual consumption. And so by committing about a third of your consumption to this project, it leaves less to maybe do a project on site. You are committing to a portion of what your overall appetite is, what I would call it. That's really the only downside. There is, because there's that discount built in, there won't be a scenario where the schools end up paying more for the energy from the solar array than they would from Eversource or another supplier.
Like in simple terms, if we use less than 600,000 kilowatt per hours, I'm not sure how we would be able to do that and still have a football program at night. But that would be kind of, that's not happening, but yeah.
Right, and for a sea change like that to happen, there's probably some indicators, the idea that schools are going to come offline. There's time for us to lessen the school's commitment and to find another off-taker to come in and step into some amount of, the 600,000 that the schools had committed.
All right, Board Member Brown.
Sorry to be peppering you with questions, but I want to bring out when you mentioned property taxes. Solar on landfill is always a good, use of a mothballed landfill that you can't really build any infrastructure on, but ballasted solars are a good use of that. But you mentioned property taxes. So is Amoresco paying taxes on that infrastructure to the city?
That's right. Yeah, we signed a pilot, a payment in lieu of tax agreement with the city for, we basically said, here's the value of the equipment. Rather than it depreciating over time and trying to figure out and having a variable tax liability each year, the pilot makes it a flat payment, but gets the city back to the same net present value dollars that the variable payment would have yielded.
Can you do a presentation in our school about this to our STEM students? Because I feel like this is really interesting and you're right around the corner. You don't have to answer that now, but, I'm sure that there'd be some students that are interested.
Would love to.
Yeah, no, honestly, we could walk there. Yeah, Board Member Brown?
One more question, because you mentioned the energy efficiency program, which has been under siege. There's no component of the power purchase package of having energy efficiency dollars, right? You were referring to like the normal energy efficiency programs like the Eversource would have?
That's right. Yeah, I mentioned energy efficiency in the sense of the schools implement, I don't know, more efficient boilers or something in the schools and reduce that 1.5 million kilowatt hours in annual consumption. So the school could take those efforts without the risk of dropping below its obligation, under this PPA.
Okay, and I appreciate that even if our normal output or normal energy load or requirements is 1.5 million kilowatts a year, and you are only able to offer us about 600, that even if we have energy efficiency programs that reduce, we're still not going to be in jeopardy of paying because we didn't use it. Is that
right? Yeah,
right?
and like I was mentioning, if something so efficient becomes available, we probably have some time to know that that's coming down the pike to make adjustments to the contract.
I just wanted to stress, for several of the questions came up, keep in mind the city did do its due diligence on all of this as well ahead of us, so there was quite a process there. And then Jay and Katie in particular and looked at all the aspects here. And I just want to reiterate what Ryan said about the only potential downside would be that if we were in a place where we were aggressively had a plan in place to produce solar energy to the tune of 1.5 million kilowatt hours, then this wouldn't make sense. Things like the ongoing conversation about, boy, we have a southern-facing SAU office, we could put solar panels there, probably 75 to 100 of them. It sends a nice message. It produces some electricity. That's just a micro dot in that direction. So there are no aggressive plans at this time, and they typically involve capital on the front end that complicates it. So we're safe in that regard.
Wonderful. Thank you. Anything else? Any other questions? I think in general, this is a cost savings. I think that also for our students and our community, I for one think it's wonderful to have solar in our community, to be able to say that a portion of our school, I think we can say a third in every building. I don't know if it's going to just one. It's going everywhere, right? It's distributed equally, we'll say. Is that correct? We'll see how, we'll do this in the course later when we talk about it.
With Katie and Jay to,
Yes.
figure out
Everyone.
which schools will.
It's theoretical. Got it. All right. So I'm looking for a motion first to waive rules so we can move forward with an approval vote tonight.
Motion to waive rule?
Okay.
Second.
Great. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Now I'm looking for a motion to approve the net metering opportunity as presented.
I would make a motion to authorize either our school board chair or our superintendent representative to enter into a contract that has been proposed with Amoresco as for the terms that were just presented.
Great. Second on that.
Second.
Any discussion? Any discussion on this
I just
matter?
want to take a quick minute and say that I hope that our questions wouldn't make the city council or anyone else that had vetted this seem like we didn't take what they said to heart. And we recognize that they put a lot of work in, but our questions are, our questions to make sure we're making the right choices. Okay.
That's great.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for that clarification. All right, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Wonderful. I appreciate it so much. Look forward to it and to the, STEM presentation for our students to know what it is, because I think we've had a lot of questions in the community, like what is that powering? Whose house? And they say the mayor's, and I'm like, no, I don't believe so. Maybe a portion, but.
You'll be adjunct faculty by
Yes.
the end of the year.
I'll look forward
honorary. I'll do the honorary. I appreciate the presentation. Thank you both.
Yeah.
for being
Thank you
here.
all for your time.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Amoresco. Yeah.
All right. Now we can move to the agenda item 9.1, the 2025-26 handbooks, Idlehurst, Maplewood, the middle school and the high school approval vote. Again, this is a formality of the handbooks. Thank you. Of the handbooks kind of coming to the board to approve. 200 pages, light reading for the summer to look through. So we were just looking for an approval, and then when there's a motion, a first and a second motion, we can have a discussion about it, but usually the motion on the table to start to discuss. Yes.
Can I just make a quick note? The handbooks had to be in prior to the policy committee meeting, and so now that the new policy has been approved, that will be replaced. We'll start that tomorrow. We'll make sure that the correct policy is in the handbooks before the start of the school year for the students, so that it's there.
Great, thank you.
Which is, if and when we get to a motion to approve, it would be amended for the new cell
To
phone policy.
reflect that.
That was my question. Should we wait to approve them until after that has been added?
With school starting, we'd rather
Okay.
do it now, and we will take care of adding, just on the addendums in there to reflect the policy change would be our request.
Sorry, I'm just looking. I thought it was actually in there, but okay.
They put the original policy because it's one of the policies that needs to be in the handbook because they couldn't put the
Right.
new until approval, so we'll switch it out.
We'll switch it out.
If you
as
approve the
noted.
handbooks,
Yeah.
yep, we will switch out to the new policy that was just adopted.
Okay. Any other clarifying questions before a motion's on the table, then we can discuss? So looking for a motion to approve all the handbooks as presented.
Motion to approve all the handbooks as presented.
Thank you. Do a
Second.
Now, any discussion about the 220 pages of handbook material? Yes.
This is very, very, very small and not like a huge deal, but when I was registering my people, I had to sign that I had read the handbook, but we obviously hadn't approved the handbook, and so I signed it. But like, is there a fix for that, so I don't have to sign saying that I've read things that I haven't?
I brought this up before, in some ways, and Kat, if you want to say something, but I brought this up before because in Power School, you kind of just click a box, I've read the handbook, without scrolling through the handbook to see it. Is
Well,
that
I'm
what-
insane, and I tried to look, but it was the old one. So like,
Okay.
I would read the handbook like for fun, like for light
Yeah.
reading sort of thing.
Oh, yeah.
So anyway, that's just if there's a way around that, that would be cool.
I think the only handbook that's going to change it tremendously is the high school handbook. Is the Idlehurst and Maplewood pretty the same as?
Yeah, they stay pretty standard. I think the challenge, because there's no meetings over the summer, it would be requiring to get those handbooks in June, which would be really challenging to do that. And we have to get them into Power School for the registration process as well, so that when parents go to complete their enrollment or update their information that it's there to read. So I think that's part of the challenge that we face is the timing.
In getting all the staff updated, things like that. I mean, I was thinking about maybe having a school board rep being able to look over the handbooks, having the look it over, but yeah.
Yeah, I'll come in and read them over the summer.
Sounds like
maybe-
Bridget volunteered.
Yeah.
It sounds like I talked myself into that.
Yeah,
so.
you can look through. Yeah, I think they're typically ready in August, I would say, but we do have a responsibility noted to approve them publicly and have them for public dissemination. All right, any other discussions about the handbooks? All right, all in favor of approving the handbooks as presented?
Just looking at Bridget, I'm like, that's a great question. So my brain is like, it's stuck on the fact that these parents have signed, they read the handbook and they haven't. So we're just going to be like, well, that's good enough?
It is absolutely an imperfect process, the way the timing falls.
Should
right
we
now.
move it? Should we move the process to like the end of the school year?
I think we can do better, and we'll figure
Yeah.
that out. It also shouldn't be so
My
much.
brain is
because
literally
Bridget
stuck.
is an exception in that she diligently looked at all of it.
Yeah.
A really wonderful exception. The reality is it's a lot, and the number of parents that are just clicking and saying fine, and that's a big project, though, to tighten it up. We can do better on the timing, beginning with the next school year, as a longer-term item to have a handbook that is something people can read and understand in a reasonable amount of time would be a good thing.
Or you can be like me and not sign your kids up yet, or not put them in public school, and
then
you can
do it.
read it.
This
Procrastination.
sounds like a me problem. So I'm sorry that I asked. So thank you.
We're still in discussion, so it's all right. Board Member Prescott?
Just about what we're talking about right now, we're also working under timelines that aren't in our control with policy updating. So like, no matter when we change like the process of when we do it, the state's going to come out with a new law in July, and we're going to have to update something in the summer anyway. So it's not all on the school or the administrators.
I think, the board let me know, I think kind of what we struggle, I'll say I struggle with sometimes is, it's good to be able to point people to where things are, like on the website and, the updates, and that's kind of the good stuff of maybe, but it's a struggle, it's a challenge within Power School or somewhere to get the information that you need, or an update, not an alert, but an update. Hey, this changed, something changed. Here's the behavior matrix. A lot of my time, sometimes I look through it's a lot of pages to go through. And when you're in crisis and you need to know, I need to know what the policy is, because typically you just don't go read through policy for fun, then it's kind of like, oh, I didn't really understand that. So I think some way of communication or conciseness is great. So, I think we get feedback from the community for that.
My brain is still stuck. I apologize. Are we going to send this out to parents and let them know so they can read the policy? Or is it something that we can do? Or not the policy, but the handbooks to the parents?
The high school where it's most significant as part
Sure.
of their orientation and rollout, the policy and the rules will be clearly communicated. I'm trying to figure out how to go back and get parents who may have clicked already on
Right.
the policy.
But can we send it to the parents as a whole, even the ones that have read it or signed up after and have read the handbook? Just the update is, hey, we have an updated handbook. You may have signed that you read it. This is just an update. Is that a possibility?
All district
Website?
parents?
On the
Or
website?
Yes.
Just post
Update
on the website? We can put
Update on the website, perhaps?
Or, yeah,
Like a-
update on the website
right there.
and then maybe like an email out.
My note to all district families includes already a paragraph about cell phone
Okay.
policy,
Okay.
which I would like to argue I waited till it was approved to send it out, but it's been a lot of other things that have put it behind schedule a little bit. But conveniently, it's going out tomorrow to reflect the policy that's the state law, which I felt comfortable kind of getting out. So at least they'll have that
Okay.
heads up. I would worry, I think it's the right thing to do, but the complications for families who are bombarded with a lot of stuff. They might
Right.
have kids in a couple different schools, they're behind on enrollment, they haven't done free and reduced, and I think the high school is where it matters most. Remember, the middle school is basically already doing this, or at least trying to, and has been, so the 8th graders now going to 9th grade are kind of used to, I'm not supposed to have my phone at all during the day. The 10th and 11th and 12th graders will be in a different boat, but I agree. It's just, I don't want to over-communicate and overburden folks with too much information about that.
Yeah, Board Member Prescott.
Kind of in conjunction with what you were saying, Superintendent Shea, we also are updating our policies so regularly with the policy committee. I know we have, 16 coming up. So I think it would just be like a huge administrative burden to email the entire school district every time we update a policy in the handbook. Just my thoughts. Yeah.
We'll figure something.
Yeah, the less. Okay, so motion's on the table to approve this, these handbooks as presented. All in favor, say aye. Aye, yeah, it's been a while since we first and seconded it, but with the notion that the high school will addend and update especially with the JICJ, yeah.
All of them actually will
All
have
of
the new
them will.
policy in it. Yeah.
Okay, all of them will have that. Hopefully, yeah, Idlehurst isn't struggling with it. Wonderful. 9.2, our capital improvement program, I motion to accept them all. No, I'm just joking. Go ahead, Katie.
So the updated CIP is in your packet. And I know there's been a lot, you've had to suspend rules tonight, but we are going to ask that you suspend it for this one as well, just because we don't meet over the summertime. The city has requirements of when we submit them, and we're last on the list just because we haven't met. So I do need to get this submitted to the city.
Great.
I just want to start with that.
Any general questions for Katie now about the CIP, which is?
We didn't have much change from the current CIP because typically we use year-end funds or adequacy to do facilities, but this year we focused on technology, so there wasn't a lot that we ticked off, but we were able to reduce the HVAC for Maplewood because we did a piece of it for the library. And then we added 2 new items, an Idlehurst tractor replacement and a kitchen floor replacement at the high school. Other than that, there were no changes except for moving the years up.
Okay. Again, for budget, Carly?
And Jay's here too if
Or-
there's any specific
For-
questions.
For budget, yeah, for budget, just to have that on a, the CIP kind of on a budget meeting in the future, just to kind of have it be seen, prioritized. If there's anything else from the community that they're saying, hey, I'd like this pothole, wall, something like that. It's just a good thing to kind of review, like one annual review. So looking for a motion to suspend rules again so we can approve this and Katie can get it to the city.
I like to motion to suspend rules.
Yep.
Whew, that was
Second.
hard.
Great. All in favor?
Aye.
Wonderful. Motion to approve the capital improvement programs as presented.
Motion to approve the capital improvement
Plans.
plans
Yep,
as
yep.
presented.
And the capital improvement program? Sorry, is it plans or program?
And the whichever one it is, the
Sorry.
capital improvement program.
Program, okay, it's plans, it kind of, yeah, I don't know, not sure what program that is. Second? Okay, any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Wonderful, thank you. All those are there, all right. Next school board meeting, September 9th, the 23rd, and then October 7th, and I believe the 28th. Any public comments this evening? Public comments by anyone in the public? Right. Any board member comments before we do have a brief non-public, I believe. Yep. Yep.
Sorry, are you all sick of me already? Okay. I just want to take a minute to plug the election coming up for our school board and some city council chairs. And I know that school board is so much fun. We have such a great time. But we do lots of good work. We just need people that want to step up and do work, that care about our students, that care about our community, and care about, being involved. And that's so important. So please, if you want to, if you have any kind of civic duty itching to be involved, please come be involved. And I love this time of year. I think I say it every year, but I love seeing the kids on the football fields and the volleyball courts, and it's so great, and I'm so excited. And soccer, I want to play soccer as well, and all the kids being outside and being active and coming back together. So that is it. Yeah, that's it.
I'm just going to say thank you, extend what Carrie was referring to with the school's already started. I mean, I'm starting to hear the whistles at the football field. I'm starting to hear the crack of the bats down at the baseball practice area. And it's nice to see the cadence of the school just starting to fall back in place. I did want to also talk about, yes, I was peppering with questions on the due diligence on the solar only because I haven't read what the city has already done, and I just wanted to make sure that it is a good bargain for our SAU. And yes, these programs will produce savings, and it's great that this project is only needing 2 users to use all of the yield. It's easier for them, it's easier for us. So thank you very much for voting in support of that renewable and more dependable source that's close to us. I want to thank the teachers, the administrative staff, and our SAU staff, because they've done an awful lot of good work getting ready for next week's school. And so I just want to do a shout out for them. And Chair Larson, I know that we didn't have a city council update, but I noticed we have a city council member here, so I didn't know if we needed to go back and revisit. But those are the extent of my comments, and thank you very much. Glad to be back in the swing of things with our school board.
Yeah. Welcome, Counselor. Happy summer. Is there? I don't think there was a update necessarily.
No, there's not a lot, at least that is of relevance to the school. There's been a lot of conversation around housing and development. I do want to mention, though, something that certainly applies to this board as well. The elections are coming up, and so the filing period is September 10th through the 24th. We do have another meeting right before that opens up, but just a reminder, we have a couple of open seats, and just for people that want to get involved. The filing period's coming up.
$5 or 25 signatures still applies? Yeah, okay. All right.
I was just going to say, everyone have a wonderful start to school. And I would echo what Marcia said, thanking everyone. And then also thank you to the volunteers who helped clean up the landscaping. Yeah.
I am not a board member, but I just want to say one quick thing. This time last year, 4 out of the 5 professional staff positions in the SAU office were new people. This year, in the central office staff, there are no new people, but there is a change. I'd like to highlight, since they're both here, that Amy Pillsbury will continue to be serving as middle school and high school special education coordinator and interim or designated director of special education. And Lorraine Field will continue to focus on the elementary schools and no longer Rollinsford, but preschool and both elementary schools, and assist with director of special education overview. So it's similar to where we were 2 years ago, but with a lot of forethought and structure. It's not the long-term plan, but it is a good plan for this year. So thanks, Amy. Thanks, Lorraine.
I make a motion to extend their contract for 5 years. And okay, thank you for being here. Thank you for doing this. My goodness, here's to a wonderful school year. I mean, it's coming up September 3rd, even though it feels a little late. Thank you to all the work that's gone over the summer. Just kind of ask. Oh, September 3rd.
I am sending my kids to school on the 2nd.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. 10th. Yeah. 10th graders and a senior, so I'm in that brain. Yeah, September 2nd for everyone. Imagine everyone just doesn't show up because I said those words. That's kindergarten to 9th, September 2nd. You please send them. That would be amazing if I had any of that. I just asked for some community grace and support with our transition into school, and coming out of the summer is it's a tough transition, and with the cell phone thing maybe slightly, but with everything else happening, these students haven't been in school for a while and haven't been kind of in that cadence and rhythm, so just hoping that our community comes around that and has that support. And thank you to the board for all being here. This is wonderful. Kind of had a summer. And with that, I'm looking for the last motion before adjournment for non-public. I think we just have 91A32A personnel.
That's it.
I make a motion that we go into non-public pursuant to the
A.
authority of RSA 91A 3, Roman 2.
Is it 3?
I second.
2. Is it 2A? Is it 3?
1A32.
A32. Wonderful. All right, do we have a second? Thank you. Bye. Roll call, please.
Maggie Larson. Carrie Clark. Marcia Brown. Bridget Jamison.
Yes.
Carly Prescott. Sarah Bryan Hart. Crystal D. St. Croix.